Hello everybody. This is very unexpected. Um, I just wanted to share some musings that I'm having as I'm doing my voluntary work here on the farm. So hello to you as you join. I'm just playing with you really here. I'm here on the farm doing my weekly voluntary work that I do, and the jobs range, from chopping wood to shoveling pig manure, which is what I've been doing today. But now I'm on one of the veg plots. This is an organic farm that my caravan is on, and it's self-sufficient, this farm, and everything has a purpose here. Not much is thrown away. It gets reused and used for all sorts of different things. So I'm just sharing a little bit of like fun and wonder and innocence as I'm doing my voluntary work here. And I want to apologize for the state of me because it's just been pouring down with rain. The sun is out now and we had the most fantastic rainbow. It's just so bright, but that's gone now. What I want to show you, really the growth stages of the vegetables here, and use it as an analogy for us, for human beings, for the changes that have been taking place this year for each one of us on the planet. And also, really, oh my gosh, the energy in my body is just going zzz as I'm talking, because I'm about to say the changes that are going to take place next year for everybody. So that's what I want to point to. I'm going to use the farm and the things I show you as an analogy, but really all of it is just about the human being, and I'm just showing you how nature shows us really all the answers that we seek for our humanness, no matter where we are in the world, what we're doing, what our jobs are. Nature shows you the answer for you every time. Mother Nature. So forgive the ramblings, but I just want to show you this because it's about each human being on the planet allowing the changes that take place for them and for other people around them. Because when we are in the flow of life, everything is far more easy for us. If we just flow with it, flow with the changes that come upon us. As soon as we begin to feel resistance within us, that's when life gets harder. That's when our mental goes, and resists changes for ourselves and changes for other people around us, no matter who they are in our lives. And I just want to show you how nature does it, because nature just flows. And this is exactly where we've all been headed, into the organic, into the flow of life, where there is no resistance. There's just living in the moment, just like nature does. Nature doesn't plan, doesn't really manipulate it. It just has its cycles. It has its growth periods. It has those periods where things don't appear to be growing too much, but actually there is something else taking place within that time of quietness. So I'm rambling already, and I haven't even shown you what I want to show you. So I better try and focus a little bit on why I decided to come on. It's very hard to focus on anything these days in the mind, I'm finding. But anyway, I want to show you, let me turn the camera around so that you can see. I want to show you this. So I'm in a veg plot. It's just one veg plot here. and it's winter. So, you know, the season has been and gone. You can see the sweet corn now has been picked and it's dead. There are broccolis and kale still growing that will go through the winter months. But generally the potatoes here have been dug up, and what I'm showing you really is the beans, the runner beans, and you know, the system that we had this year of creating bean poles, and along these bean poles that were joined together were the runner beans that have obviously been picked in September. And also the farmers planted sunflowers, which people love, and they leave the sunflowers for the birds, for the seeds in the winter time. So what I want to show you is this, and this is really the analogy for us as human beings, is this structure. If I perhaps come out a little bit, this structure, you can see are the bean poles. There's the tour, by the way, in the background. It's about 3 miles away as the crow flies. Sorry, 1.8 miles away as the crow flies. So this is the bean poles that have been put together for the start of the season. The beans have grown, they've been picked, and my job today is to dismantle the bean poles, okay? And this is what I want to show you, is if I home in on the bean poles and how they've been created to hold together, you can see they've been wrapped up with twine to hold the structure in place. Yeah, you can see here the twine that holds the structure in place for the beans to grow. Right. So you can see how tightly it's been tied, so that in the growing season the beans and the structure doesn't fall apart. Okay, it's really tight, and I'm undoing all of this. And just by the way, this twine here, it's from the bales of hay here. So here on the farm they grow the grass for the cows, and then they bale up the long grass as hay bales for the cows, and the bales are baled up with this pink twine that gets kept. Everything gets kept, and it gets used. Then it gets used for another job, for something else. And so in this instance, it's getting used to tie these bean poles together. So nothing gets thrown away. Everything gets used again and again. And what I want to show you is how tightly everything is tied together to create a structure. And that analogy is really about the structures that we have put in place as each human being for ourselves in the 3D and the 4D, where we have created ourselves structures which will fall away in the natural nature and cycle of your evolution, your expansion of consciousness into the God consciousness that you truly are and always were. Some of these old systems are just going to fall away at the right time, at the greater time, at the greater design time, if you like, of the whole picture. And what people will do is they'll hang on, you know, they'll hang on tightly to these structures because it's safe, isn't it? If we create these solid structures around us, we try, as they start to fall apart, we try to hang on to them. When in actual fact, that's our consciousness showing us that when things start to change for each of us, when things start to dissolve, when things fall away, when relationships change. It's the higher consciousness trying to expand us. And so in this instance, we've got like the beans, and they've had their season. This is nature's flow I'm showing you, that's directly the same for us. But we've got the beans that have had their system. They've grown, they've been harvested. This structure has served its purpose, in other words. And so what happens is a storm comes along, and you can see this mess on the floor. They're bean poles that have just blown down in the storm. Nobody pushed them down, they just blew down themselves in the storm. They wouldn't have blown down in the summer when the fruits were growing, when the beans were growing on the vines. It was when that harvest was done, when that time period had expired, when the beans had served their purpose, then the whole structure gets lighter in weight. The storm comes and nature just blows it down. It's served its purpose. Do you see? And this is what happens to us, especially in this timeline. All of this year, we've been letting go of things. Things have served their purpose. And for humans, there's resistance. There's the experience of pain and resistance and fight. So much fight within humanity, when in actual fact it's that greater design of the evolution of the golden age to expand our consciousness. And we can't expand it if we're just holding on tightly to this because it feels safe and we're used to it, and so therefore we feel a bit secure because we're used to this being around us, and we don't know what the next stage will be. So we grasp onto what was because we had this idea that it was safe and it would last forever. But if you look at nature, nothing lasts forever. Everything is in flow. So all of these beans, these dead vines, and the sunflowers, and you can see that this veg plot looks a little bit untidy and in disarray, but it isn't. It isn't at all. Because what the human could do is come along and say, right, well, we'll just have to tidy this up, make this look nice and tidy. This is where the potatoes were. Let's make all of this tidy, and let's pull all these weeds out, and let's control nature. That's what we can think about as humans, trying to take control of our lives, trying to give it some sort of order. But actually what will happen here is all of this will get left, because next year the pigs come on here, on this veg land. The pigs come and they just have a field day, and so they get to eat everything that we leave, that we have left. Do you see? We don't need to force, we don't need to control, we don't need to hang on, we don't need to manipulate. We can just look at nature, and some of this will decay even more, but some of it will stay. And that is the nature of the kingdoms, where every kingdom helps the next kingdom and the next kingdom. Everything has its own design, but it's so natural. So natural. And what humanity did was it tried to control it all. And so if we go back to our bean poles, which is kind of why I came on, I'm trying to show you here that we have built structures in our lives. And if we do wish to expand our own consciousness and do it in the least painful way for ourselves and others around us, then we can just allow the natural flow and the greater design of this golden age, of this age of Aquarius, and just allow the changes, allow these structures to quite literally fall down. Because if we do hang on to them, if we grasp at them, if we don't want these changes, guess what's going to happen? They're going to fall down for each of us anyway. Just like this storm that came and blew half of these bean poles down and anyway. So we can grasp, we can try and hold on for this idea that there is a security and everything lasts forever, but it doesn't. That's the thing. It's not supposed to. The whole design of the universe, the whole design of the cosmos is flow. It's energy. And energy is always moving. And for the human beings in this age, it's about our expansion. That's what it's about. And we're not going to expand if we hold on to the old structures. We have to observe what is changing for us. And the easiest way through is just to flow. Just to observe the changes, choose what we want as things change around us and within us, and just flow with it. Just allow the changes. We don't have to know everything. Nobody knows everything. We never will. But we know in the present moment. And that's all we do need to know, is just be present for the present moment. And then we get to see what our higher consciousness is actually trying to point to. If we think about the future, if we think about and dwell on the past, we're not here right now. And the true nature of all of this creation is there is no time. There is just now. There's just now for the runner beans when they grow from their seed. There's just now when they're ripe. There's just now when it's time to pick them. And it's just now when the structure of that runner bean has to decay and then go back into the soil, back into Mother Earth. Or maybe into a pig's tummy to be eaten. But there's always just now. Nature doesn't plan. There is no time. And if we just stay in this present moment each and every day, if you just try and practice that even for a few moments, just be here now, just be present now. That's where the magic is. It's absolute magic. And it's where the higher energetic information is. The higher energetic information isn't by looking at the future, and it's not by looking at the past. It's right here in this now moment, in the present moment. Everything you need to know. There's so much that the human seeks that they just don't need to know. They just overload themselves with all these thoughts of, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And where will I be then? And oh dear, I'm sad about that happened a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something. But they take themselves out of this now moment, and it's here, it's right here that peace lies. And just be here right now with me. Just in quietness for a moment while I shut up and just listen. It's just golden. It's just peaceful. There's just the kingdoms. There's the wind, the freshness in the air, the blue skies. You see so much more and hear so much more and feel so much more when you're just in the present moment. And when we're not, we miss it all. And it's actually in the present moment that your consciousness shows you, informs you, gives you the data that you need to take your very next step. And that is the higher realm, where we don't plan too far ahead. We just know what to do in the next moment and the next moment and the next moment, because we literally don't live in time. So I should go. There's a helicopter flying over now. So I'll let you go. Just my musings. I don't know if that's helped, but it is just to say really that, you know, things will change for everybody. Structures that we relied on will dissolve, and these could be big structures within our countries, or they could be smaller structures that we held on to that were part of our lives and part of our way of living and being. But if they don't serve the greater expansion of your consciousness, then your higher consciousness is going to show you and is going to start to dissolve those structures that were in place for each and every one of us. And it'll be different for everybody. But the easiest way through is just to flow with no resistance, but just acceptance. And when you stay in that present moment, when things appear to be falling around, all around you or within other people's lives, if you just stay in your present moment or come back to the present moment, then that's where you can find your peace. And that's where you can find your wisdom of what to do next. Just one moment at a time. That's where the magic lies, in the present moment. We don't need to know everything. None of us will ever will, and we don't need to know it. It's just brain overload. The way the brain works changes. It changes how it gets used, should I say. When it marries the heart, the brain operates in a very different way. It goes on board with the heart. They work together. They don't fight each other. But I'll shut up, because otherwise I'll keep talking, won't I? So, lots of love to you. Don't know if that's helped. It's just ramblings. Because I'm totally aware of the changes that people have been going through this year. Letting go of things, letting go of people. It's served its purpose. Your soul desires that greater expansion of your consciousness. And so, of course, things will change so that you expand and expand and expand and expand. And what that really means is you go into a higher energetic frequency of hertz. So in order to be that higher frequency of hertz as energy, which is your higher consciousness, it's just a higher degree of energy that it operates from, experiences from, in order for that to be so for you. It means letting go of the lower frequency hertz consciousness that you were. And that means letting go of X, Y, Z for you, if necessary. Or for another person, if necessary. Just so that you can be you. You can be your greater expansion in each moment. I know it's a journey where we expand And then what we have done is we've then met people, so we've expanded in our own consciousness, but then we've needed to meet people that are, say, in a lower state of energetic hurts. But there's no time left for that now. It literally is about you staying in your latest energetic frequency and holding it for your expansion. And others will just meet you when they're ready to. Everybody's at different places, different stages. Just trust it all. Just trust. Trust that you're held by the greater love. Because you are. It's the truth. So, the only way you can be your greater consciousness, the wisdom, the unity, the peace, the joy, the bliss, the only way you can be that is actually by being it. So be what you've expanded into. Be the gift that you've just been given. Don't negate it, which is what we have done to make others feel more comfortable. Trust your path, and it's different for everyone. Trust everybody else's path, even your children's path. You might have 6-year-olds, 2-year-olds. Trust their path. Trust your family's paths, everybody's. Know that they're being held too. They're being cared for, that nothing ever ends. Everything is energy, so everything flows. Everything changes, always. And that's what human beings try to resist, the changes. And that's what brings them pain, resistance, fight, whatever. So I hope that helps somehow. And if it doesn't, just let it go and leave it be and ignore these ramblings. Okay. God bless you. Bye-bye for now. You take care. Bye-bye.